guys, my name is Vanessa Bernardo from the Wreath Coach, and today we are talking spring, and we want to go through one of our favorite planter designs with you guys step by step so you can recreate it at home. So this is our yellow, blue, and there actually is some pink in these as well. They're just not bloomed yet, but this is a planter design that we created for a commercial property in Mississauga, Ontario, and it is, I think it's a little bit different from the traditional spring planters where it's like pastel and soft and whimsical. This to me is a nice, like, modern kind of upscale approach. It is very sophisticated. We have a little bit of metallics in there, and it just all comes together very nicely, and it's the perfect, start to spring for the front of this office space. Okay, so our two planters that we are starting with, the tallest is about 40 inches high, and then the opening is about 16 to 18 inches, give or take a couple inches for like the frame around it. You lose a little bit of space in terms of your actual planting space. And then the smaller one is about 30 inches high, and then it's about 12 to 14 inches the width inside. These are very grand planters, so anything that goes into these planters really needs to be able to hold its own and make sure that it is relevant in size so that everything looks proportionate. So that being said, we are going to go in first with our tallest centerpieces, and these are actually going to be reused from the winter planters because why not? Spring is one of those transitional parts to the year, especially in planters where the season might not be very long. The time it takes for, the weather to warm up enough for your spring plants to survive enough in your planters, and then that transition to it becoming really hot really, really fast. You don't always want to, sink a bunch of money into your spring planters. So reusing some of the accents from your winter planters are a great way to start. So what we're going to use specifically here is our birch poles and our curly willow branches. And these are already, we already know that these are tall enough because we've used them in the winter planters, but with a 40-inch tall planter height, I wanted to make sure that birch pole was the same sort of drama. So we have I think it was 5 to 6 feet for the birch pole. And just remember, when you're purchasing your birch poles or your curly willow branches, you want to take into account that about half a foot to a foot will get buried into your soil. So that's not actually a part of your overall height. So if you want it to be 5 feet above your soil in your planter, then you want to get a 6 foot tall birch pole so that you have enough of it buried so that it's stable, because at that height too, and the weight of the birch pole, there's a very good chance that it could blow over or move a little bit in the wind. So just make sure that you are calculating that correctly and you're not under calculating and then being really off, and then your perspectives are totally thrown off. So we went in with our big ones, our big planters, with the 5 to 6 foot birch poles, and then in the smaller planters, I believe it was like 4 to 5 feet, we did sort of the same thing because, again, we wanted to make sure that the proportions were correct and that the two planters side by side, one wasn't overpowering the other. They both really need to hold their own, but also look good together. So we've put that in, and then we're going to go in with our orange curly willow branches. These were fresh when we put them in the wintertime, and because they get put into soil, and I give them a clip before they put into soil, I think that it actually helps them continue to live. Like, they're not completely drying out. If you were to just have a planter with your floral foam, then they'd probably start drying out, and then they would be a darker brown, which is fine as well. But they would be like dry as opposed to these ones. And actually, the fun thing about curly willows in the spring, if they are put into soil and they are still alive, but they've just gone dormant over the winter, come spring, they will actually start to bloom some willow leaves, and it's really pretty actually. Adds to that like sort of whimsical beginning of spring effect where there's just kind of like little green leaves growing throughout your curly willow branches. So I definitely recommend, even if you didn't use them for winter, definitely get some curly willow branches for your spring planters. So next up is one of my favorite tips for spring planters, and it's using faux grasses. I think this is the greatest way to add some texture, some height, and some fullness to your planters, because you know it's faux and it's not going to die. So it gives you that constant green and that constant height and fullness, while the spring plants around it, the bulbs and the pansies, they kind of do their thing, and they're, you know, maybe they're not bloomed when you put them in, which is what I recommend. And then they have their lifespan where they bloom and they die off, but that center fullness is still there. So the core of your planter and that drama that you want, regardless of those blooms that are there or not, is going to be there. So these grasses are about 24 inches tall. So it's hitting about the midway point of the birch and the curly willows. These can get expensive. So, I mean, hunt for them. You can find good prices. You might be able to find them at like a Home Sense or a craft store like Michael's. Early spring is a good time to look for them, even into the winter. That might be where you find them on sale. But when you do find some, you can give it a little bit of a spray with like a coating so that it helps keep the color and keep them good. But I've had really good luck with them. You can use them year after year. So even if they are a little bit pricey, I definitely recommend, if you find them, invest in them, and they can just be reused every season. Okay, so our foundation is in, our big dramatic centerpiece is in. Next up, we are going to go with another foundation plant that I like to get into my planters really early spring, regardless of other designs for the year. You know, it doesn't really matter at this moment what you want to do for summer or fall, but get in some Creeping Jenny, because Creeping Jenny is a workhorse, and it is fantastic for that growth all year long. Put it in early spring and it'll last you. You can use it through your summer planters and then into your fall as well. You can give it a little bit of a trim throughout the year. But it's really a great plant, and it's actually a perennial. So if you plant it one year, you may have it come back year after year. If you don't fully pull the roots out, just give it a bit of a trim. I like to just kind of add them in the spring anyways, because it gives them more of an instant growth versus early spring and night might not be fully grown in yet. So you just add a little bit more, but at least you know that it lasts you for the whole year and you can use it into fall. Okay, so now for our flowering bulbs, we are starting with our daffodils, and these are yellow, and these daffodils get really tall. So this is something that I'm going to plant the closest to the center, because even though they are a little bit short now, they will grow taller. So, I mean, if you're finding plants in a store or the nursery, if you look at, there's usually a little card that goes with them, and that should tell you sort of the heights that they will grow. So start tallest in the center, obviously, and then work your way out towards the side. So daffodils are going to go around our centerpiece, and they're going to bloom a very beautiful yellow. Next up is our tulips, and this is where I say the pink comes in. It's just a light pink, but it's just a nice little addition, a little feminine touch to add to our planter. And these are going to go in between the daffodils, and they are relatively the same height when they bloom. So I like to have just sort of everything mixed in, as opposed to one section of daffodils and then one section on the other side of tulips. When you kind of blend them and separate the bulbs like I'm doing here, then you get a nice display that's even on all sides, especially in this case where you have people accessing the planters from all different angles. You want to make sure that it is nicely rounded out and looks nice and even on all of the sides. So if you are buying bulbs like this in a container where there's like 4 to 5 bulbs in each, don't be scared to pull them apart. Each bulb on its own will survive and bloom on its own. So it doesn't have to stay in that little like 4 or 5 inch pot size. Like even when you pull out this plant from the pot, the soil will probably be together, but you can start tearing it apart and then you can place them however you want throughout your planter. And again, this is a good way to just sort of make sure that everything is dispersed and you have a really nice color variation throughout the entire planter. So next we're adding in some extra daffodils. These are tete-a-tete daffodils, and they are smaller, more petite than the first daffodils we put in. And this is just because they are starting to bloom already. So I like to buy things that are at different times, blooming times. This will give us a little bit of color right now. And then once those die off, then the other tulips will bloom. So it's just sort of like a constant, ever changing, but always looks good and always looks sort of designed, right? And it looks planned. So if you are buying your stuff and you want a little bit of color right away, then I would recommend doing this. And this is sort of in the foreground. And then, like I said, once those die off, you can even completely trim them down to the bulb if you want. And then you just allow the daffodils and the tulips at the back to do their thing. And then I'm just adding another layer of tulips in between these mini daffodils here, again, just to add some more dimension. And the way I'm actually laying them out is the old tulips that were around the centerpiece. In front of those tulips is the mini daffodil. And then if you move over to the side, the daffodil that we planted first, in front of that will be the tulip. So everything is kind of in like a zigzag motion, which creates that balanced look where it's like nicely spread out. It doesn't look like it's just like pink here, yellow there, and a little bit chaotic, but it's thought out and it looks really good when everything starts to grow in together. Next up is our blue pansies. These are my favorite, and I think it's such a lovely contrast with the yellow. If you take a look at the pansies, there is a little bit of yellow on the inside of them, which echoes really nicely with that yellow daffodil. So little things like that help with it looking put together and really thought out and really designer quality. So this is really important for spring because I feel like it can kind of get a little bit messy sometimes when color palettes are not thought out properly and not the same. I used here, I believe it was four 4-pack cells of pansies. So the big one had 4-pack cells, and I think the smaller one, I used about 3 or 4 as well. I just kind of kept stuffing them in. And then for our final bulbs, we are going to add in some hyacinths. These are in white, and white is a great color to just sort of balance everything out, and it kind of gives like an anchor for everything. And hyacinths are really nice to just add in because they smell amazing. So this is really nice for this business as well, but even for your home, if you want to give that really nice early spring smell of fresh flowers, hyacinths are a really nice addition, and they do bloom and die off rather quickly. So I'm putting these in, there's no sign of them even starting to bud yet. So you can't tell that they're white, but they are going to be white. Okay, so next up, I keep talking about making sure everything looks balanced. We have that blue at the bottom with the pansies, and I thought it would be fun to add in some more blue throughout the center. So what I'm adding actually is some preserved blue eucalyptus. And again, it adds a really nice sweet scent, really nice for spring to kind of get you in the mood of the fresh flowers and the, outside smelling really nicely. So I'm just adding this to the center. Again, be aware of the sizes. This is about the same height as the grass. So it looks really nice with the grass, and it just adds another dimension. It adds that really pretty smell. It adds another really nice texture, and then it brings up that blue into the center. So when everything is blooming, it all looks cohesive. You've got a little bit of yellow in the center of the pansy, which mixes with the daffodil. And then the blue is also brought up above the daffodils as well. So everything just looks thought out, clean, and designer quality. Okay, so now all of our fresh plants are in, and we are going to go in with some accents, and this is where our metallic is going to be brought in, and I think this is awesome for spring. The metallics, they reflect light and they bring in that sort of modern and sophisticated look to that spring arrangement that is not really seen that often, but the metallics look great, especially that like silvery gold against the blue with the yellow. That pairing is just high end and it looks really nice. So I've mixed pods in here with like another silver bell cup, and the difference in like the smooth texture of the bell cup versus the more textured organic look of the other pods. I think it looks really cool together. Next up, we're gonna add a little bit of color in our wood accents, and these are like a really fun wood yellow, almost looks like a sunflower, but it's made out of wood, and it gives it a soft feeling while also bringing some more texture, but it is like that nice, really pale yellow. So it kind of brings it down into the fun, whimsical of spring, which we normally get, and pairs beautifully with the metallic and the modern look and the sophistication that we want for this commercial building. And then finally, we're gonna go in with these really cool honeycomb looking picks, and that brown I think is really necessary for grounding everything. It really connects with spring because all the snow is melting depending where you live, and you start seeing that ground cover that's probably not green yet. You know, you're not really seeing much life yet. So it really brings everything together. It reminds you that you're still in spring, and there is that slow transition while the buds that are in your planter are also starting to bloom. And that is it. There you have it, one of our favorite designs. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know in the comments. If you're looking for any of these products, we do sell a lot of them on our website, www.wreathcoach.com. And please make sure to subscribe and follow along. We're going to be going through more of our designs throughout the year to help you be a professional at home.